Do you have a product idea? Maybe something you've been thinking about making for years? If you feel you want to make your very first product, then this is a video for you. A lot of us have creative product ideas swimming around in our heads, but something stops us from turning them into reality. Trust me, I've been there. Here's the big secret about developing products no one has told you. Due to the way the world has changed in the last 10 or 15 years, you can just make stuff. Using modern technology, making your first product is easier than ever, and it leaves you with the freedom to brainstorm about improving your products instead of getting bogged down with learning all of the skills that come along with manufacturing. How do I know? I've done it hundreds of times. And yes, I've made hundreds of mistakes along the way. So I'll try to help you avoid those as we go along. My name is Shep, and in 2001, I was required to design and sell my very first product as part of a college course I took called Entrepreneurship 101. Since that time, through the course of working for a number of small startups and then having my own brand, I've created and launched and sold hundreds of items that are now in millions of homes. The only thing I do now is help to launch products and start companies to put them out into the world for sale. I've seen all of the steps involved in taking your first product idea and turning it into a real business. That's why I can tell you with total confidence. The hardest part is just getting started, and then you'll be fine. This is not a video about creating a brand, registering an LLC, or selling on Amazon. This is just about how to get started with your very first product. All of that other stuff will be described in future videos. Making a custom product these days is not as difficult as it sounds. Things have gotten so much easier. You don't need investors. You don't really need to pay for designers, and you don't need tons of money. You just need a few $1,000, maybe 8 weeks, and the willingness to start. I've designed and launched hundreds of products over the last 20 years, and I can tell you it's easier than you think. If you start today, you could be holding your very first prototype by next month. In this video, I'll walk you step by step through how to turn your idea into a working prototype and a factory to make it. And I'll help you get feedback before you spend any real big money. And to prove how doable this is, we're going to use one simple product idea that's actually been on my mind. So I'm going to make it. A black leather tote bag for men. Something sleek, simple, and not too purse-like. There are a lot of tote bags on the market, but I just haven't found a cool one that I like yet. So I'm going to talk about how to make it as an example. If you're watching this, you probably already have an idea for a product that you want to make. Maybe it's something that doesn't exist yet. Maybe it's something that you have seen 1,000 times, but always thought, I could make a better version of that. That's how most great products start. Not from genius, but from irritation with what's currently on the market. You look around and think, why hasn't anyone fixed this yet? In my case, I just wanted a leather tote bag that didn't look like a purse. And it has to be sold for some kind of reasonable price. That's it. Nothing revolutionary. Just a gap that no one has filled. So instead of waiting for someone else to make it, I'm going to do it. And this is where people overcomplicate things. You don't need to hire designers or learn 3D modeling. You just need to create a prototype that the factory can see, or buy a similar product and show it to the factory and explain the modifications. For my leather bag, I bought a cheap canvas tote that was about the right size, and I told the factory, I want to make this shape, but make it out of black leather. Maybe woven leather if possible. 20 minutes later, they're already sending me photos of leather options. That's how fast you can get the ball rolling once you start communicating your idea clearly. There's a new website that has been a big help, and it's called Axio.com. It's like a smarter, cleaner version of Alibaba.com. We're going to use this website to find factories that might be able to make your first product. And we're going to interview them about how much it's going to cost. I'm going to be making a whole video about using a sourcing website because there are a lot of advanced tricks you can use to make the process easier. But for this example, just imagine it like Amazon.com. You search for the products you want, and if you can't find anything exactly like it, just choose the product that's closest to what you want. In my case, I came up with a lot of black purse manufacturers. Great. If they can make a purse, then they can make my bag. Choosing a factory is a lot like dating. Different factories may respond to you in different ways. Some write back really fast and clearly, some write back slow and horrible. Pick a factory that responds quickly, communicates clearly, and seems excited about your project. If the factory won't write to you, just move on. Find someone who gets your vibe and wants to build something with you. If you find a great factory that works really well with you, then you're much more likely to get your first prototype made. Let's just imagine you ran a search and you found 10 to 15 factories that claim to make leather bags. You're going to write an email to each one describing your new product and showing them pictures, including the dimensions and the details about the product idea. From there, you'll just eliminate the factories that aren't getting it and keep moving forward with the factories sending you good pictures and examples of how they can make your product a reality. Once you've chosen a factory, you'll go back and forth with a lot of emails. They'll send you pictures of other things they've made or mock-ups so that you can agree on the details. This is where your idea starts to become real. And you'll get hit with questions you haven't thought about yet. Should the inside of the bag be lined in cloth or leather? Do you want a zipper pouch? How long should the handles be? This stage is all about making small decisions that bring your idea into focus. It's not hard, it just takes a few clear answers and a little patience. The factory will usually hand make your sample for a few $100s. That's it. Just a few $100s to see your idea come to life. It may take a few weeks, but when they finally send you your first sample, it's a moment you'll never forget. You're holding something that's custom, that used to live only in your imagination. And now you've done it. You can just make stuff. If you don't like the sample you've received, you can stop right there. If you really like the product but need to make changes, there's an opportunity to do that now. Tell the factory what you want next. And if you've finally gotten the sample just perfect, you can proceed to a small test order. We'll talk about that in the next video.